Hey guys, Maximus here. Thanks for tuning in. There comes a moment in everyone's life when you must choose: live inside the system or rise above it. Most people, they'd never notice that moment. They're lulled to sleep by routine, comfort. But if you feel that pull inside of you, that sense that you're meant for more, that's not frustration. That's the call. The call to step out of modern slavery, which is financial dependence. A life where you work every day, yet own nothing. The truth is simple. The system doesn't free you, ownership does. Every asset you build is a brick in your escape. Every liability you remove is a chain falling off. I have this belief that financial freedom isn't random. It's mathematical. It's actually simple. There's a formula to it. Build assets that pay you, destroy liabilities that drain you, and then let compounding just fill the rest. When you apply this simple formula, you cross an invisible line. You stop reacting to life and start constructing it. Because wealth isn't fate. It's intentionally built. Let's get right into it. Here's the truth most people never hear. The world isn't split between rich and poor. It's split between owners and consumers. Owners build the system and consumers fund the system. And the difference comes down to a simple equation. Assets minus liabilities plus time times discipline equals freedom. That's the formula for owning your life. And once you understand it, you stop playing. You stop playing the game emotionally and start playing it mathematically. I can prove it to you. If we zoom out, every wealthy person or institution, and I mean every single one, owns income producing assets. Every one. Real estate, businesses, stocks, crypto now, Bitcoin, big on Bitcoin. That's the only one for me. Patents, royalties, and media. And you could, throw in intellectual property in there. That's really big. And those are all assets that pay them even when they're asleep. That is not an accident. It's a pattern. On the other hand, people who stay financially stuck aren't weak or lazy. They're carrying liabilities the system encourages them to buy. All of us. Cars they can't afford, subscriptions they don't use, debt that compounds in the wrong direction, not because they're bad people, but because the system is engineered to reward lenders and punish spenders. Live below your means. Think about how governments, banks, and corporations actually operate. They don't survive on salaries. They survive on assets, leverage, cash flow, and compounding. This is the playbook. Let's go micro for a second. Let's zoom in. A bank borrows money at 2% and lends it at 8%. That 6% difference is pure asset income. A landlord buys a property once and gets paid every single month. A YouTuber creates one video and gets paid for years. An author writes one book just one time and gets paid royalty checks forever. An investor buys an ETF and lets the math compound without lifting a finger. I'm big on my Roth. Every empire in history, ancient, medieval, modern, was built on ownership, not wages. The people who own land, gold, trade routes, railroads, oil, data, code content, they built the rules. Everyone else worked inside them. So when I tell you the formula is simple, I'm not oversimplifying it. I'm really just painting the blueprint. It's a simple blueprint. We have to think that assets equals freedom, guys. They're freedom machines. It really means eventually your time disconnects from survival. That is the real definition of freedom. Time without fear. When your assets pay you expenses, your life becomes yours again. Liabilities are basically energy leaks. It's like leeches on you. Those liabilities, they drain your money, your attention, and your time. Every dollar that goes into a liability is a dollar that can't multiply. That's why the system pushes liabilities, cars, fashion, lifestyle debt, because they pull people out of the game before they ever start. Liabilities aren't moral issues, they're mathematical handcuffs. And they prey on your comforts and desires, making long-term wealth feel less urgent than short-term dopamine. When you feed assets and starve liabilities, time becomes your ally instead of your enemy. You don't need to be perfect, just consistent. Compound interest is really the mechanism that makes your future wealth just skyrocket and explode. $200 a month at 8% for 30 years turns 72 grand of your money into $611,000. That's over $500,000 created while you sleep. Compound math only cares about two things: small inputs and time. Feed it, don't touch it, and it explodes. The world rewards owners and penalizes consumers. This is very key to understand. If you don't own, you pay someone who does. If you don't invest, you stabilize someone else's empire. If you don't create, you consume. If you don't learn the rules, you get ruled. It's not personal, it's structural. The world is built by owners on their assets. Okay guys, so what does this mean for you? It means you don't need to be born rich. That's a big sigh of relief, right? You need to shift identities from consumer to owner, from spender to builder, from short-term dopamine to long-term math. Your financial origin story doesn't matter. Your income matters less than your consistency. Compounding doesn't care where you start, only that you start. Just start. You don't escape the system, you leverage it. You use its rules, you use its loopholes, you use its math, and you use its momentum. Your money already has a job. It's either working for you or working for someone else. And when you choose ownership over image, like the way you look, assets over applause, flattery, long-term freedom over short-term validation, that's the moment your real life begins and takes off. Because freedom isn't an event, it's a formula. Build assets, kill liabilities. Kill them. Let math handle the rest. That's how you own your life. It's as simple as that, and it could be complicated to put into action, but it's as simple as that. If this message hit you, if you feel the spark of wanting more control, clarity, and power, subscribe. I love having conversations and just bringing awareness to these things because it's more of the personality and the attitude and the inner workings which really could help make life so beautiful. Let's be those people in other people's lives where we try to wake people up to how the world actually works, because the difference between freedom and struggle is whether you let the system use you or you learn how to use it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Pretty good. We're gonna rock with that.